Welcome to the first episode of our podcast. I'm Evangeline.
I'm Donovan.
I'm Pat.
And we are Simply Neighbors. All right, awesome. Evangeline and I moved to this neighborhood a couple of years ago, and we had the awesome happenstance blessing of moving in next to Pat, who's been a model neighbor to us. Just a great resident leader and somebody who always takes time out of his day to help us out with anything we need, welcome us to the neighborhood, introduce us to resources, all that. So yeah, we wanted to have you on here and talk a little bit about what it's like to be a good neighbor living right here.
Yeah, so we want to start off by just getting to know you a little bit. So feel free to introduce yourself. Tell us how long you've lived here, maybe what brought you into this neighborhood, and yeah, we'll go from there.
My name's Pat. I moved here in 2005. I was in the suburbs, but I didn't need the big house anymore. The kids were gone. Mm-hmm. I didn't need a good school district, which I guess I shouldn't say here. But I moved here primarily because of the taxes at the time. Homestead Falls was quite a bit expensive, more between the city income tax, still haven't paid city income tax in Cleveland, and property tax. I saved enough to make 5 house payments a year. I didn't need a big house, didn't need, creature comforts, and so I ended up here.
Yeah. That's awesome. You said 2005.
Yep.
Okay. And were you kind of looking on this side of Cleveland?
I was actually looking in different suburbs, this side of Cleveland. It took me probably about 6-7 months to find a place between, at the time, the housing market was nuts. Mm-hmm. And, some of the suburbs, they wanted much more than I ever paid for this place. Like, my house sold for triple what I paid for this place.
Yeah.
And they were junk. You'd go to look at it and the basement be flooded up to the furnace and this kind of stuff, So
Wow.
I found one that I could actually fix up on my own and wouldn't kill the pocketbook. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm here.
Nice. Yeah, and you stayed, you stayed for a long time.
20 years now.
So, yeah, that's awesome. You want to ask the next question?
Sure. What are some of your fondest memories of this area with your neighbors?
Just some of the people. When I first got here, there was like the bar at the corner was like a family thing. There was different families that, like on a Friday night, you go down there for the fish fry. Mm. And then, things started to change a little bit, but it was just, there was a lot of people that were easy to meet, easy to work with. It was just, and it was quiet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you had a lot of conveniences, access to the freeway, parks, those kind of things.
Yeah. Those are some of our favorite things about this neighborhood is, access to freeway. There's, our street is particularly quiet, I would say, too. Has it always been like that?
It's actually been quieter.
Really?
Yes, there was a lot more seniors living on this street at the time.
When you moved in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was all the little old people that if they saw a dandelion, they would jump off their porch and run out with their spade and hit that dandelion.
Oh, that's funny.
And, it was just a typical American neighborhood. It was just, everybody got along,
Yeah.
And it's changed. I mean, especially after 2008, there was a lot of foreclosures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then things really started to change.
Yeah. You mentioned the fish fry. Was there like a restaurant on Bosworth?
Well, it still is. No, at the bar.
Okay.
The bar.
The tavern.
Which is becoming a restaurant again, right?
Yes. The bar side was when you first walked in the door, and then the back half where the pool table is now used to be. But it would be family for the fish fry.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, they bring the kids and everything, It was, But then the owners got older and they turned it over to managers. Then it kind of went downhill. This guy's put a lot of money in to fix it up since he bought it.
Yeah.
But he's running the city too, so.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, so I guess what are some of the changes? I know you kind of mentioned a little bit, but what are some of the changes that you've seen on the street or in this neighborhood over the years? The good, the bad, all of that.
Well, there used to be another apartment building in the blank lot right here at the end of the street.
Okay.
That was a duplicate of the one that's still standing. That part of what brought the neighborhood. When Brady was in, she got that tore down. There was more houses. Like there was a little old lady in the very corner that's the empty lot on the kitty corner from that. There was a rather nice house right behind me. And what is the bank lot? It was like one of those Cape Cods farther down Thrush.
Okay.
Or down Flower. But the guy lived in Chicago that owned it. And when he died, they couldn't find the title to it, so they couldn't take possession. They ended up having to tear it down. And that's why I got the funny fence, because that used to be blocked off by his garage.
Yeah.
And then I decided I wanted the picket fence so the dog could see the kids across. She loved watching the kids across at the school playground.
Yeah.
There was not as many kids. So, I mean, that is kind of changes, And there was a great pizza joint at the end of the street.
Really?
But he went under. The convenience store used to be nice and clean.
Okay.
There used to be all kinds of barber shops. The gas station over here, you remember the old little bitty Clark stations? Okay, they were just...
Oh, that's before our time.
Okay. They were like probably no bigger than this room as a gas station. So when I moved here, that's what it was. It was private gas something or another anyhow. So that just got built probably about 10 years ago, that what you see now. Across the street used to be a Lawson's, and now it's just a regular convenience store. There used to be a George's Gyro in the end of that. That's gone.
Good food.
A lot of the car repair places are gone. There's no barber shops left at all. The amount of traffic,
Yeah.
Needles in the park. Never used to see hypodermic needles in the parks.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that in.
No, I mean, it's good to look at our neighborhood and just, hold the good and the bad together.
Yeah.
How are some of the ways, I guess, the good changes that you've seen? I know a lot of new people in the neighborhood, right? So we're new. And I see a lot of newcomers, a lot of immigrants coming into the neighborhood, and I think the neighborhood is changing in some ways because of that.
Yeah, it's actually starting to go back up a little. It was like 2008 and that it was getting pretty bad. So the one family about second or third down, they did a lot of work. That was getting pretty bad. The very first house behind the parking lot was an old retired guy that just didn't have any money. That was really falling down. Those people fixed it all up. It's some good, some bad, I don't know what this guy from California is doing. He had the renters with the Huskies that tore the place up.
Oh.
And he hasn't opened it back up since. That used to be an older couple with us, or not couple, but an older lady with her older daughter that used to live there, and then she died and the daughter had to move. The next house over has been redone. There's been a lot of these houses that flippers bought, and like the yellow house across the street, I just sold, I guess, for somewhere around 180. But that was still the original farmhouse, and looked at. And they put a lot of the one guy that bought it pretty cheap. Fixed,
Yeah.
Well, they did a lot of work in here. I mean, that used to be the family room.
Yeah.
That used to be the kitchen.
Oh. Wait, is that the addition?
No.
That is.
Okay.
That's why
Yes.
the outlets are so high in this room.
Okay.
Because that used to be the kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't a real big kitchen. This hasn't changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that used to be the family room. And then he used to have, well, he had 3 daughters. And they were all kind of crazy. They got divorced and then things changed, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typical old story.
What do you think about this neighborhood that stands out as opposed to different parts of Cleveland?
It could be better. It's not as bad as some of the neighborhoods, but you can see where some of it's changing, you know, from outside pressures, not the people inside, as the outside pressures. What's amazing is, like, you drive through this side of 130th, and then the big major change after 130th. What's the other side of 130th used to be over here. There used to be a lot more convenient stuff, a lot more, you know, now is the charter school. That used to be a Catholic school. And it was, when I first moved here, it was full. In fact, all 3 girls from here went there. Now they've done a nice job of fixing it up. They took the church. You've been in there to vote to see how the auditorium is.
Yeah.
You know, so they've done a lot over there. Certain parts, you know, like the 2 schools this way where they got the preschool, which they didn't used to have. You know, it's people's different tastes change different things.
Yeah. So I'm curious, Pat, because like Donovan said, when we moved in, like, your influence on our experience here was a big deal. You were very helpful. I remember you telling us where to go shopping for groceries. You know, I remember different things, and I come home and Donovan's like, yeah, Pat, help me do the fence or do this. So I can tell that you have been a good neighbor for a long time, and we have personal experience with that. So where does your motivation come from that?
And part of it's, I'm from way out west where, like, if your friend down the street went down during harvest time, everybody jumped in.
Yeah.
The same when I was living in Medina County. And John, who passed, was right across the street. He was kind of like me in a way. I can't remember her name. Renee was here, was helpful. You know, I used to play with her dog.
Yeah.
I used to sit out in the front yard with her dog. But the yellow farmhouse. Okay, that used to be. She was a social worker for the VA.
Okay.
And she was helpful. Michelle, which lived next door to you, was helpful. People knew everybody and just got along, and if you needed something, you found out, you know. So it's like...
Yeah. It's not hard being a good neighbor.
It's easier being a good neighbor than it is a bad one.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It sounds like it's the simple things of just, like, you know your neighbors and you're willing to step in for, you know, just the small needs they have. Like, it doesn't sound like you're talking about anything major, but it builds up.
Well, like Mary Beth across the street, when I fell in the park and lost my hip, she took the dog for almost 30 days, you know?
Yeah.
And also put 10 pounds on the dog in 30 days. Biscuits and gravy for breakfast, and expects me to take care of it afterwards. Judy, the next house, she's just downright friendly. She's just gotten so infirm now it's hard for her to get out and meet people. But she's been in that house since 1957.
Wow.
And
1957.
yeah,
Wow.
a lot of this is when this got developed. Was my house was built in 44, and then that side of the street that's why they're all pretty much the same, was a development. And so it was a lot of young families at that time that, you know, were together, and helped each other out in different time, different world. You know?
Yeah, and I guess maybe what advice do you have for us to get to that, right? Because I think it's changed.
The thing is, a lot more people need to get into a lot more independent thinking. There's prior to like the big change there, everybody was kind of like a follower. You know, the mayor would say something and we all pledge allegiance. You know, but as you run into the Mavericks, you see things that will change. But it's such a what you guys are doing is actually good, okay, in the sense that there needs to be the change. This could be so much better. When I ended up here in '68, so I went to high school in Parma. And the difference, like you didn't come into Cleveland then and cause trouble because the cops got you in a heartbeat. The schools were like west over here on right off 90, West Tech. They used to have everything from the guy that ran the foundries for Ford Motor, he taught there, foundry class, electronics classes, all different, you know, things that help fill the factories around here. Secretarial school, home ec, you know, that kind of thing. Cleveland's schools were still doing good in the 70s. I ended up in Parma in '74. I had to recover from my incident in the service, so they put me on recruiting duty. And we used to like to get kids from Rhodes to take the entrance exam, and John Marshall. Now they got the gangsters or the gang unit sitting in the front of Rhodes when the kids show up first thing in the morning. And you can tell the difference, you know, it's that they let this go like that, because these used to be good schools. That's got a lot to do with just society in general today. It's just the difference in the education, you know, like what you do, okay? When I grew up, it was just data punch cards, okay? It was the big thing, and they were just going into, you know, things like Fortran, COBOL. There was no such thing as the internet. There was no such thing, you know, as, I mean, you still had to dial a phone like this with the rotary, you know. And this, to me, this hasn't kept up with what requirements are to have a decent life or a decent job, or there's so many things that these kids aren't learning today. But don't even get involved in that'll drive you nuts.
Yeah, and to be clear, I work as a software engineer, so Pat's referring to that work there. And I think you're generally just speaking to Cleveland schools aren't preparing young people for what they need. What do you think, just kind of thinking neighborly, what is for someone who's listening who wants to plug in as a good neighbor, what kind of practical steps would you give them?
Well, you guys are starting out right with getting the money from the foundation, okay? The thing is to somehow figure out how to get a small group together. And if, there's so much information out there that nobody's aware of.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially as seniors, that you'd be surprised how many of them would help if they were aware. But a lot of them, they're so scared because Cleveland's not that open to them or helping them, you know, letting them get through, that they're scared that if they do ask for help or they get involved, then people are going to think they're infirm and then chase them out of their house. They got, you know, it's just the way they were brought up. So if you take a group like this and you make it a little bit bigger and you start going out and picking projects like this, or like the last big one we did was putting all the shrubbery up and down Lorraine Avenue. I personally talked to each and every business owner as if they would manage. Once we planted it, we'd come by twice a year, help take care of it. But if you take care of it, water it. And for the first year, it was beautiful, all the way out to Gierko, from 120th to Gierko. All those trees had big, different flowers planted all over them, perennials.
That's awesome.
And the first year it blossomed, the street looked. But then they quit taking care of it, and it slowly went down. Things like that do make a difference.
Yeah.
And then Cleveland needs to, with the seniors, they need to start helping them with the computers. Eddie down the street, he was a chemistry teacher in Berea, so he's no ding dong. Well, he went to one of the classes to learn, and he said, everything was like, it was a young person that was just talking so fast, expecting you to know it. And he finally quit after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The way it's structured from a young person, they don't think of. Yeah. They were brought up from day one with a laptop or, but the seniors.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who helps build the systems, the software systems that, make intuitive sense to people who grew up on computers, I empathize with that pain because, it's natural to assume people will understand this as a younger person. But I've also seen the flip side with like helping my parents, for example, with computers, and even my grandparents. And it was like there's just that common language isn't there. The knowledge of how things generally work isn't there. So that's definitely something that, especially for these essential services, needs to be thoughtfully created and really clearly laid out how to do these things.
Yeah, and really how to honor the residents in this neighborhood that have been here for a long time and support them.
There's so much going on that, like, okay, Judy, she's in the Yellow House. She's a retired LPN from Fairview and divorced, so her Social Security is nil. But there's programs like we got her a new roof. We helped her fill out the paperwork, and didn't cost her a dime. In fact, they came in, they did everything but the garage, trimmed the trees, put new gutters up because of her income level, and got her on the Homestead Act. And same for Mary Beth, got her on the Homestead Act, got her the lower water sewer bills and stuff. People aren't even aware these things are available.
Yeah.
There's many seniors that don't realize they could get food stamps based on their Social Security. And not only are they afraid to ask, but they're not aware of it because the newspapers don't cover it, the news doesn't cover it, the city doesn't cover it that well. There's a lot can be done for seniors, a lot be done for the people here.
Yeah.
That if we get the politicians to quit holding on to their kingdoms and actually care about the people, we might go somewhere.
Yeah.
There's so many people that want to improve their neighborhoods, but just don't have to know what's available or who to get a hold of or how to get a hold of, or, you just got to have somebody who goes out and talks to people. Like I said, when we did the flowers, I talked to every businessman all the way down the street. Of course, I was retired, but I had another guy that, he lives up here on 105th. We went around together.
Okay.
And it's hard to hold them together, but the more information you get, the more you can get people involved.
Yeah.
But the information's just not getting out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Like,
maybe some of the tools now that we have, like social media and the internet, can be that tool to let people know. But also going back to just the simple neighboring of door to door. Let's go down, let our neighbors know about these resources.
Even if you get to know someone like Pat on your street who knows these things, that can make a huge difference, because then it's, ask this neighbor, they've been through that process before, or et cetera. All that like human social capital.
Yep.
Can be really, really powerful in bridging a lot of these gaps.
Yeah, and that's what it's going to take, okay, to really improve the overall city, because you've got too many fiefdoms, period. For me to get reelected, I got to protect this and, do this, and that's not how it should work. It should be the government takes care of the things we can't do, not all these little projects that just waste money when there's so many other things. I've had a work order for that tree to be trimmed from 2 different places for 3 years.
What?
Eddie down the street has had a work order number for his is about dead for 5 years. And he's called since. And, that's the things the city should not have to be asked over and over and over again, and it should get done.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you guys doing this, really. Then you could feel some of the pain I felt. But there needs to be more people like you. It just, people don't know how to get together anymore. Aggravates me really bad is to see somebody in a restaurant, instead of talking, they're texting each other, and it's like, it's not how I grew up.
This is why we're doing this, right? We want to learn from the people who've gone before us, and I think that is something that's so valuable that's lost in our society.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you for just being a good neighbor on this street. Someone treated me this way, so it, We want to take that on too, and we hope everyone who's listening who hears about how to be a good neighbor wants to take that on too. There's a new generation in town too to take it up.
I was surprised when you told me that this is what you were looking to do, because it was hard to find, that in-between group. Most of our group was, probably the youngest was in the mid-40s all the way through to 80, and then it just kind of shrunk after that. But there are a lot more people like you out there. You just got to go find them, and you guys could do a lot of good.
Yeah.
Once you figure how to manipulate the government. Okay. It's when you shut this off, I'll say something.
And with that, we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on here with us. We're learning more every day about how to be a good neighbor, and so grateful for you being on here, Pat.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Good luck. I mean that, honestly.
Thank you.
Let me know when it gets down to the hair pulling time so I can watch. Good luck, kids.
Thank
you. Thank you. This has been Simply Neighbors. Thanks for listening.